6D diesels. So on today's top quality job, so we'll recognise this as being the front end of a large 6.5 to 7 tonne Iveco daily. This is a 3 litre Iveco turbo diesel. Now, they're very good normal engines. Normally, they're very good engines. They have a few ilks. This one at the moment has none of those ilks and has done 400,000 kilometres. So while we're here, obviously there is no cab, as you know, it's all stripped down. We have done lots of repair work on it. We'll show you that in a minute too. Timing chains. Has a timing chain. Now the one thing with timing chains is, yes, they don't need it changing as regularly, but they do need changing. So while we're here, it would seem fairly brainless not, while there's no radiators, no front, no cab, and it's all nice and easily accessible, not to change the timing chain. So what we're going to do today is change the timing chain on a 3 litre turbo diesel Iveco. It's not rocket science, it's not super difficult, and to be honest, it's one of those things you sort of could do with doing when it hits 300,000 or 400,000 kilometres. So, time lapse, front off, or maybe not time lapse, I don't know, I'll work that out in a second. And because I'm slightly limpy today because I've managed to give myself the most massive 3rd degree, look at that, burn off a radiator yesterday because I'm an idiot. And I wasn't concentrating, and I washed steaming hot steam and nastiness all up my arm and into my armpit and ruined myself. It was quite painful. Don't want to do that again. So if you're doing your 3 litre Iveco, obviously you'll have to remove the front, which would be here. So basically you leave the bumper on because you can work over that, but you need to take the headlight panel, depending on which model of Iveco. I think you've got to take the headlight and the scuttle out of both of them. Prop the bonnet up because obviously as soon as you take the headlight scuttle out of a Mark IV, there's nowhere to put the bonnet in that. The bonnet prop. You'll have to take your rad pack out, so there's bolt, plate. The top ones lift out, undo the bottoms, undo all the hoses, Gucci the rad pack out, then you'll be here. You'll have a rad fan. That's a load of 10mm bolts, you need to take that off. And then you are into the big ugly juicy bits. So things that you will need to remove. This thing here, this top cam cover, you need to come off. This here, so inside there, if you didn't know on an Iveco, is a filter. Here, sorry, is a filter. There's a breather filter in there, which you should change. It's on a clip, so this whole section here needs to come off. This pulley needs to come off, and obviously we need to take this belt out so that we can get at all the timing marks, the pins, because we need to get in here as well. On the top up there are 2 little hex Allen key bolts that lock the cam, so you take those out. You need a cam locking pin kit, we'll show you that in a minute. And then you've also got some timing chain tensioners, which you don't want to take off till you've got it pinned up. Don't go getting ahead of yourselves, and don't go undoing anything till you've got it pinned up. So what we're going to do now, time lapsing this whole front piece off, which you can probably slow down and follow if you need to. But you need to get this off, that off, and then this whole thing here. And remember to order the metal gasket for this, because they're a one-hit wonder, and you'd be much better putting a new one in there, then it won't leak, rather than put the old one back in and find out it leaks and have to start all over again. We are into the timing mark side of Ivecoing. So on the top of your Iveco, on each camshaft up here, you will have 2 of these little plugs. They're a bit of an arse to get out sometimes. You do have to whack them with a chisel, because if someone has murdered them up the time before, they do just take the heads out otherwise. So give them a little tap. And then you have this great arrangement of pins. Nice and cheaply buyable. I don't know what that is. It's a broken off bit of pin pump from something. Quite worrying. Doing this out of this. We'll just put that over there for a minute. So basically, you have 2 in the tops in here, one there and one there. So they sit there. Obviously they've got to be engaged properly, which they aren't at the moment. Then you have your main crank timing pin down the bottom here, which if I can remember goes in there. So what we need to do in a minute is put the big nut back on. Now there is a pin for locking that, I think, but I don't remember it being those two being terribly essential, because I don't think the timing pin for the on a 3 litre, that the actual injection pump is timed. As long as you've got your cam and your crank timing locked up, all of the rest of this sort of lands where you want it. Now there are also master links as well on these, because you change these, the chain, the guides. This will be changed, so we need to get this undone in a minute once we've got it pinned up, because basically this sprocket, this one's very sharp and pointy. And I think the kit comes with one of these, and some of them do. This one's not too bad, even come with the crank drive sprocket as well. But it all depends on quality of your kit. So what I'm going to do now is find the red hot nut that was a wanker and would not come out. That's that one. Screw it right back into its base again, and then we'll whiz her over and get her up on her timing marks. Normally these come undone relatively easily. This one was particularly difficult. I had to abuse the hell out of it with a large windy gun to get it to go. This is 36mm, just in case you needed to know. So we'll get a 36mm half-inch drive socket so we can winky her over, or even a 36mm half-inch 36mm spanner. So we can actually turn the engine over, get her up on her marks. Next one. We must have done a revolution already. There we go, there's one. I won't screw that up quite. Oh, in the eye. Okay, actually managed to drop it straight in the bucket of oil. Down there, deep joy. Great, marvellous, gacky. Now covered in snow. So in theory, we should be. Let's go and get a torch. I don't think we're there up here. We might be there up here. Going to have to go and get some torches and de-goo all the stuff I've just dropped in an oil bucket and waggle it around. Commence de-gooing. Oh, I manage it for the money sometimes. Let's have this one back out. Just. Oh, kind of harder. Your arm's gone all gammy because you set fire to it, isn't it? And we see the bits go past here. Oh, that needs to be out a bit further. And we're going to need a torch. Right, so that's up on the 2 divots on the top. Are we anywhere near on the bottom? Nope. Yes. Ooh, pucker. Right. 2 top ones back in. On there. Let's just give it a wiggle around to get them to drop in. This is brilliant now, so if I just give them a gentle tap. Seated. Seated. So, That's top timing marks in, bottom timing marks in. We'll have a waggle around and get those bolts, cap things, whatever they are at the top there to do up. They look to be a bit over to one side, which I don't like. Just do get quite a degree of slap on these chains. So. Right, she's screwed in there, she's screwed in there. So in theory, we are good. And I broke the bottom off my torch last week and then lost it. So it's no longer magnetish. It's gone. No need to invest in better torches. Not better. And stop dropping shit. Yeah, we're good, aren't we? Now, I'm pretty sure that that isn't a pin. No, it can't be, can it? That's an oil supply hole. I don't think there is a lock-in pin for that one. We'll figure that out later. I think they're for a different engine, because they definitely no fitty in there. So what I've got to do now is get this nut undone, because I've learned with that before. Which is cack-arse about face thread, as far as I can remember. Undo that in there, which is a 15 or possibly a 16. Could it be a 16? Yeah, I reckon so. He's not left-hand thread then. Just need a bigger bar. There it is, standard thread. There's me. Losing the plot. Right, so I've got to huzzah all of this off of here. So we need to do the same with these two. We need to winky these two chains off, or two plates off. Remember, these are different, so you need to keep them so that you can make sure you put the right one back on in the right place. And obviously, before you take the chain off, it's obviously, oh dear, quite a good idea to make sure that you've done them up properly. That's better. That gets those two in there, doesn't it? Now, are we left-handed, Fred, or are we? No, I think we're standard, aren't we? Yes, we are. And then the other one there. That's the ones. Right. So we have some tensioners to undo, which are hidden. I think they're both this side. We've got one there, and then another one down in there, and they both need to come out. I think they're an 18, is what I can remember. 18 or 19? Ooh, maybe a 17. Where's my big bear? I'm not getting there. Loosen this off. And there. And then the other one is in a really handy place right behind the water pipe just there, which will involve spanners. All of moving a water pipe. So you can sort of see the varying array of bits that we've got off that need replacing. So this is the vehicle's oil pump. It's bolted on the front. You need to take that out. 4 bolts. Make sure you put a new gasket behind it. It's metal. They're not killer expensive. And if you don't have the oil pump, that's not going to be good. So your 2 top camshaft sprockets, they're worn. Those are the two tensioners. They vary. Remember to make a mark of them because it doesn't say top and bottom on the new boxes, and they are different. So then you've got your two tensioner guides, one at the top. So this, let me just down here. So that's your top one, which sits underneath. That's your bottom one. So those are your two lower guides. These are your uppers. So that's right above the top of those. And then there's that one down the side as a slipper. And basically, obviously, it's all locked up. This sprocket comes as part of, and that's off the front of there. There are no alignments, so you basically just nip him up. I'm pretty sure he doesn't take a pin in the fuel pump on this truck. I will doubly check, because we can just lock that up now. That's not too much of a worry. This gasket is chuck away. I will order a new one, or I think I have already ordered this one and the oil pump one. You don't want to use them twice, because if it leaks, it's a whole world of pain. But whilst you're here, obviously, remember, you'll have seen this little, that's the Iveco breather filter. If you run the part number for it, I'll give you its blueprint. They're really cheap. If you try to buy it from Iveco, they're really mind-bendingly expensive and about 48 quid. Buy the blueprint one, it's about £4. Front timing cover, obviously, while you're here, it's always worth, if there's any description to worry about this seal, which is your front crankshaft seal, you might as well whop that out while you're there. We'll check on this one if we got a new one. I mean, it doesn't look bad. We'll probably swap that out, and you might as well de-goo, because obviously you can see on this the oil level is sat right at the edge here on the sump. We've got to service this anyway, so we'll drop all that out. But that's the timing chain off. What I'm going to do now is go and open these genuine Iveco group boxes here that should have a whole timing chain kit in them if we're lucky. So in this box are some genuine Iveco bits. Now, we have not gone completely crazy and felt the need to buy them from Iveco. We are going to give you a good tip called this lot. This lot are zeppelin.co.uk and zeppelinTrading.co.uk do genuine Iveco parts at a much better price than Iveco do them. So we did drive up and pick this lot up, but most of their stuff is shipped out. I can't remember where they are now. Greenford, it looks like a London postcode, yeah. Horsenden, wherever the hell that is, I sent Simon. So remember the Zeppelin thing. If you need our genuine Iveco bits, Zeppelin, nice people, even gave us some mugs. And then this, there's a bit of a tip, is said Iveco breather filter, right? And if you use, I'll scooch you this way, if you use, this is a blueprint one, and if you use that blueprint part number just there, which you can obviously freeze frame and take off, these are really cheap, whereas the Iveco one will make you fall over. There's people on eBay selling these for like 45 quid. They're about £4. So now I've got my coffee, my fag, and I've managed to track down my top quality open L penknife that I lost again the other day. We shall open up these boxes and see if there's anything else we need to order that's not in here. Hopefully not. Don't spill your coffee. Put your coffee over there, Hemsley. Put it there. Be safe and it won't wobble off, will it? So how much excitingness have we got in here? I don't want that, that's rubbish. Oh, it comes in a whole posh little tray. Look at that, posh. It all fell out of its posh tray, but we'll just flop it back in there. So basically, let's upturn that a bit. Here is your timing chain kit. So obviously that should be flopped in there. Those should be, so that is your top tensioner. Do not push that bit before you put it in. You will regret it. Just leave it alone, slot it in, and because it's ratchetable. That needs to stay in there. That's your bottom. Your bottom tensioner is just the spring and the oil driven. Then obviously this here, let me put my penknife down, is your top right top chain guide above your camshaft sprockets, those two. And then this one, oh, it goes in that way. This one here is the slipper that goes down the side. Yep. So I'm going to put that lot over here safely. We'll get rid of that because I don't want that either. Keep my penknife. And then this should be the bottom kit. Yes, look at all that shininess. Don't want that bit. It's all escaped from its thingy again, but we'll have this one out, turn it over and put it back where it's supposed to be. Stop that in there. Where that went, that's escaped. Right, so chain wants to be in the bottom. Chain, guide, sprocket. So, same again, a selection of bits. This is the lower timing chain. This is the back of the 2-tier sprocket. So you need this one, this is the one that screws on the fuel pump. And then this one here sits, no it isn't, oh I'm talking out of my bottom. That is the power steering pump drive sprocket. That is the back of this one that sits on the fuel pump to join 2 chains. Yep, got that. Then basically you have your 2 lower guides. Yep. Did they give me any tensioner arms? This must be what this box is. Let's say I'll get panic inset otherwise, because I should have. Yeah, there they are. So the 2 main tensioner arms, new runners on them, and hopefully it came with some new bolts. Came with 2 new bolts. Any reason for that, or is that just, that must just be an over, because they are exactly the same bolt. And the wife's ringing. So what I've got to do now is put it all back together. 10 seconds for you. I haven't touched this for 2 weeks. We've been a bit mental. So you saw me with all the bits. They're all nicely laid out here. So what I'm going to do now is throw all this back together. I've got my two top sprockets just laid out here. I'm going to have to take them off again. They're only just sat there to make sure, because obviously one goes one side, one goes the other. You'll figure that out when you do it. And I'm going to huzzah all this back on. I'm going to do it on time lapse, so that if you need to stop it, pause it, obviously you can jump about in the time lapse, and then you know where everything goes. So there you go. Just got to literally nip this tensioner adjuster up. I must remember to do now, otherwise I'll forget, and then everything will fall apart and go boom shakalaka, and we won't be very popular with Simon. That basically is how your Iveco 3-litre timer chain goes on. So what I tend to do, I was trying to remember it because it's been a while. Obviously you've got your crank locked here, these 2 are fully floating, and you need to make sure these 2 are locked like we showed you earlier. If you leave this to slip, as you put the chain on, tighten this up last, it allows you to get everything slipped, locked in the right spot. So you've got a sprung tensioner here and a one-time ratchet hit tensioner here. Don't get them round the wrong way. The ratchet one is to the top, the sprung one is at the bottom. And then that basically allows you to get all of your slack in the right place, because you want your take up this side. And lovely. And then basically last thing to nip up is this. So obviously I've got a few more things to do. I've got a oil pump to throw back on here, so I want to clean some cases, clean the top cases, and I want to drop the oil and wash it out. So what we're going to do is, well, I'll get up and move the camera. We'll leave this here for today because I need to do some cleaning, but that is how you do a 3-litre Iveco timing chain. Obviously remember to wang it round before you try and start it. Make sure you've got it on right and everything clears. I will do that to this in a minute. And then there's a load more on this to come, because I've got the cab finished, he's over there. Need to paint the chassis. Torsion bar is fitted. Rear springs are fitted. We've got a load of exciting stuff. Well, if you like recovery trucks, we have. Anyway, thank you very much. Al, 6D Diesels.